Premier League is back this week with Game Week 8 and we have got 7 fixtures to look forward to with some very enticing fixtures and some fixtures which have a very important meaning when the season will come to the end and some teams might get relegated and some teams might stay up. So we have some great fixtures to look forward to. We have got Aston Villa versus Southampton on Friday night, along with Forest versus Fulham, along with Forest really fighting for their life this season, and let's see can they stay up. Along with that, we've got Wolverhampton Wanderers who are expected to again be the top 10, but can they make the more bigger push? So they will be playing against Manchester City, the reigning champions. You've got Newcastle taking on Bournemouth in a very important match for Newcastle if they really want to make the slide up. While Tottenham play Leicester City. Leicester City right now are in a threat of relegation the way they are going. While Tottenham Hotspur so far, if you see, to be honest, they're unbeaten in the league, but the performances have not been convincing. While you've also got Brentford playing against Arsenal, where Brentford this season have been doing well, the courtesy of Tony playing so well and Bumo having a good season. While Arsenal are top of the league, even after a defeat to Manchester United, they have 5 wins and a loss. And can they stay top up there? We'll discuss that later in the video. And along with that, Everton are playing West Ham, where Everton are trying to stay up this season, while West Ham are trying to break into the top 7, top 6 with the spending they have done. So, let's start with the first game today and discussing on Aston Villa versus Southampton. A very, very good game in a different spectrum of the table. Now, with the signings of Philippe Coutinho on a permanent deal, Kamara, you had Diego Carlos, sadly who is injured. It was optimism around Aston Villa fans, people all around the world, people supporting the Big Six club that Aston Villa can be a next top 10, top 8 club in the league. They can be in the category of West Ham to break into the top 6 or Newcastle because they're signing some good players, spending some big money. But Aston Villa have not reached that heights. When Steven Gerrard was appointed, many people had doubts whether he is the right appointment, whether he's the wrong appointment, and so far it doesn't look the right appointment. And the first question I'm going to start today is discussion on Villa and also a discussion on Gerrard. So on Villa, they had a very disappointing campaign which was somewhat made better with the draw against Manchester City last week, where they should have won, but that offside call was ludicrous. But what's gone, that's gone. But Aston Villa should have got a victory in that. But other than that, their whole season has been an absolute disappointment. While on Gerrard so far has been very disappointing. On this channel, I made it very clear that he should not be sacked. You've signed so many players. You've just brought me on as a manager last year in between when you sacked Dean Smith. It doesn't make sense to sack him now. For me, he deserves at least more time to prove himself. But Steven Gerrard also knows he's one of the most experienced person in the world. He has been in the footballing world. He knows that once owners and the fans get impatient, sack is always near and looming. So Aston Villa have got some good fixture lists coming up, and Steven Gerrard knows it's now or never. If they cannot even beat Southampton at home with international break approaching, there could be some warning signs for Steven Gerrard. On whether he's good enough or not, for me, he might not be good enough, but he deserves some more time to prove himself. And then if he doesn't prove, then he deserves to be sacked. Now, going on discussion on Southampton. Now, on Southampton, they have been a team which has impressed everyone this season and the way they've gone on, especially the youth project type of they're going on. Lavia from Manchester City has been a good signing. Tott at the back has been a really, really good player. They played very well against Chelsea. The new keeper is looking good as well. They already got Kyle Walker-Peters, Adams, Armstrong. They're looking a very good team, to be honest. But a team that most probably will stay away from relegation zone, but nothing much. They're not a team who are going to break into top 10, top 12. They will still be 13th to 17th round for me this season. On Southampton, giving my humble and honest opinion, they're a good team with some good youngsters. Players like Adams, Adam Armstrong, Lavia, Tott at the back who's playing well. They've got James Ward-Prowse with the ability he has got. You've got a young talented player in Genepo as well who's doing well this season. The new goalkeeper looks good as well. You also have very experienced team there at back what Hassan Udalas. So they cannot be relegated for me. They have a lot of experience and are a good team. But I don't think they'll finish more than 15th or 16th, and it's going to be that sort of season for Southampton. On this match, this is a must-win match for Aston Villa and there's no excuses. And for me, they will win. I think it's going to be Aston Villa 3 and it's going to be Southampton 1. Going on towards the next game, and that is Nottingham Forest versus Fulham at the different spectrum of the table. Fulham this season are looking like they might comfortably stay up, while Nottingham Forest have signed 21 players, and in the previous game week, they were 2-0 up against Bournemouth, who are one of the worst teams in the league, and they lost it, and the score was Nottingham Forest 2, Bournemouth 3. They spent a massive amount of money. They have signed 21 players in a window, and let's for 1 second assume that they are relegated. the financial crisis they will be enormous and will be uncontrollable, because championship will have wage caps and Nottingham Forest can be in a massive danger. They have to stay up with the spending and they have to start winning now, or the relegation will loom very near before they realize. For me, in this game, discussing now on worth it for Nottingham Forest signing 21 players is very difficult to say right now. If they stay up, it's worth it. Because if you stay up in the Premier League, there's 100 to 150 million you earn from it. So that's worth it. But if they get relegated, the whole existence of the club can be in danger with the finances. So that's where it might not be worth. And could they have stayed up with their former players as well, signed only some players? That nobody will know now. But let's see, can they stay up or not? Now, going on Fulham, can Fulham or will Fulham stay up is a question everyone has. They were everyone's favorite to go down with the history they have got, but this year they've come with a plan. Marco Silva as a manager I've always rated and he's doing a good job. They're playing good football. They gave Arsenal a good run at Emirates. They lost narrowly at Tottenham, even if they weren't good in that game and were dominated. They got a draw against Liverpool. They've also beaten the most informed team in the league in Brighton, and they're looking a good team with Mitrovic, Palhinha playing good as well. Kenny Tete playing good as well. The left, Bird Leno as a goalkeeper. They're looking a good team, and I think they're more than enough to stay up, but they won't finish more than around 13 to 14 to 12th. That could be the ranking they will be, but the players they've got, I think that's more than enough for Fulham to survive this season. And on this match, I do see this ending in a draw. Nottingham Forest in front of their fans cannot afford to lose, so they will be up for it. And I think Fulham are a very good team this season, and it does look like that this game has a 1-1 draw written all over it, with a Mitrovic goal for Fulham while a Nottingham goal in form of any other player, because at the moment their goals have not been consistent. So you can say Brennan Johnson, but the goals have not been consistent, and Jesse Lingard has been really disappointing so far. Now, going on the third match of this week, that is Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Manchester City, as you can see on your screen. We are going to discuss on Wolves and the new look team. Can they break into the top 8? So starting on Wolves new look team, signing Diego Costa, Matheus Nunes, Guedes. They are slowly adding some strongness in the team as well. Midfield is one of the best in the league. Neves, Moutinho, Nunes, that is one of the best midfield in the league. And the midfield is one of the best, if you say, from the bottom half, bar the top 6 teams. It's a very good midfield, and that's an exciting midfield that any club wants to have. I think the attack is still very raw, it still lacks finishing, but Pornes and Neto are always very good and threatening on the counter. Costa, if he even performs 30% of what he did at Chelsea, I think Wolves will break into the top 8. And now that brings me to the second question. Will Wolves break into top 8 with Guedes, Nunes, Costa? Now for me, they still lack goals, and for now, I cannot see Costa do a lot of impact with the way he has been in the last some years, but I cannot see Wolves being out of the top 10. For me, Wolves again will be a tough side to beat, will get 55-54 points this season, will keep a lot of clean sheets, will get some goals from Costa, but I still don't think that will be enough, and they'll be in the top 9, top 10 or top 8 in the league for me. So it won't be a surprise for me if they break, but I do see teams like even Newcastle, teams like West Ham, I think they're just much ahead of Wolves right now. And now, coming to Manchester City, and will Manchester City keep clean sheets? After the first some game weeks, they have been struggling, bar Nottingham Forest, bar West Ham. I think so far Manchester City has struggled to get a consistent run of clean sheets. They've been conceding goals, 3 against Newcastle, 2 against Palace, and against Aston Villa also they conceded and should have lost that game. And even against Dortmund they conceded a goal. So they are struggling right now when it comes to clean sheets as well. I think defensively they're not looking as strong as they've been. So will they keep a clean sheet in this game? For me, I don't think so. I think Wolves are really going to strike them on the counter, and this could be a very entertaining game. Now, for me on the match preview and what could be the prediction for me for this game, I think this game has a 2-2 written all over it. I think Wolves are going to hurt Manchester City on the counter. Podence, Neto, I think it's going to be Wolves 2, Manchester City 2. Wolves sitting back, soaking up the pressure, countering, but City coming back in the game in form of Haaland, and like they are becoming the comeback kings. I think Wolves, I won't be surprised Wolves go 2-0 up and it's 2-2, but I do see Wolves lead, City come back, Wolves lead, City come back, and it will end Wolves 2, Manchester City 2. Now, coming on the next match, Newcastle versus Bournemouth. Now, Newcastle have had a fantastic start to the season. Kieran Trippier has been really good as well, and they are on a good run of clean sheets with 3 clean sheets so far this season. So will Newcastle continue the defensive solidity, or will Bournemouth, who just got 3 away to Nottingham Forest, will really get some big victory here and show what they're capable of? Now, discussing on Newcastle and can they break into the top 8? That's very, very possible because the squad is looking good. Isaac, Callum Wilson, Maximin, Chris Woods, Ryan Fraser. Attackingly, they're looking a very good team. Grimard is in the midfield as well. And Botman is right now looking a very good player as well. Nick Pope is a fantastic addition. And unlike Wolves, they have goals in the team. And Eddie Howe has been one of the most improved coaches, the way he has improved Newcastle, and has been one of the most improving coaches right now in the league and doing a great job. I think they can break into the top 8. Will they? Remains a different question. But they are going to be a team to watch this season because if you're defensively solid and you have good attackers, you will always proceed as a side to a good level. And now, coming on to the opponents, Bournemouth, can they stay up? For me, in a humble opinion, I think they're going to get relegated. But if they get relegated with the fight, that will be very good for Bournemouth. Unlike Nottingham Forest, they've not spent a big money, so they can come back again. And if they put a good fight, they go back and they learn from this, then they can come back even a much better side than we can even think of. And on the match preview and prediction, surprisingly, for me at the moment, people, you will be very surprised to hear, but I'm going with Newcastle 1, Bournemouth 1. I cannot see Newcastle lose right now. They are a very good team when it comes to plucking out draws. But I think in a match where the other team will sit back and Newcastle will have to do everything, I think Newcastle might struggle, and this might be their first taste that when you're a top team, you are the favorite, everybody plays the park the bus against you. How does it feel? And I think Newcastle will struggle to break Bournemouth down, and I think with the inexperience of winning a lot of matches, I think it has a 1-1 draw written all over it in my humble opinion. Now, going on to Tottenham versus Leicester, another very important game in a different spectrum of the table. Can Tottenham be the title contenders? Can they continue their undefeated streak? For me, yes, Sporting defeat was horrific, but Conte's record in knockout competitions has always been bad, so I won't take that into consideration with the league. Now, when we come to the league, Tottenham have not been convincing, but they have got the results. They have good enough points on the board. They are looking tough to beat. They already have played Chelsea away, West Ham away, and that's already 2 tough games out of the counter away games. So they are doing a good job in that regard as well. And I think this Tottenham team is still very strong with Kane, Son. And now the question arises, is Son going to perform the way we expect him? He has been disappointing this season. I think he will. I think Son will really come back to the player. I think he's going to do well against Leicester in this game. And I think at some point, Son will be back to the player we have known. Now, it's time to talk about Leicester and can they get relegated? And along with that, I'll also answer another question, what's happened to them. Now, they were a very good team who won the Premier League. That gave them attractiveness, that gave them sudden big push. Then they appointed Rodgers. Their scouting team was one of the best in the world, scouting great players, finishing near to the top 4, winning the FA Cup. That was a great run for Leicester. But sadly, as much as that FA Cup victory was great, and I still, as a fan, always will have a trophy over top 4, the thing people have to remember is top 4 in Champions League, it gives you 80 to 90 million extra money, while winning the FA Cup gives you 4 or 5 million. I still prefer FA Cup over top 4 any day of the week because it's a trophy. But sometimes, for at least the long term of the club, something like top 4 would have been important, and Leicester could have done both the things if they were not a bunch of bottlers in the final day against Tottenham. And since then, they are struggling financially. They cannot sign players, they have to sell players. Fofana sold, we have seen them selling their best players. And right now, when you see Leicester City, a lot of their players look disinterested. A lot of the players are not putting that shift that you expect from them because many of them are expecting moves in the future. And that's where the problem comes. And now they cannot spend the money. They have the manager on a very high package. So to sack him is going to cost them a lot of money. Players are not playing with a passion for the shirt. And this is where the problem for Leicester City is rising. And I think this is not going to go. Now, can they be relegated? No. I think they have so much quality, they won't be relegated. But are they in a threat of getting relegated? Are they in a threat of at least having a poor season? Absolutely. And that brings me to the match prediction. For me, this is going to be a defense versus attack. Leicester are going to sit back. Tottenham are going to attack. And on the counter, I think a player like Harvey Barnes, Maddison and Vardy will make Tottenham pay at one occasion. I think it's going to be Tottenham 2, Leicester 1. I think it's going to be the same Kane-Son game where I think Kane is going to score a goal, Son is going to score a goal, and both of them will assist each other. And I think it's going to be Leicester City scoring with the hands of any one player. And I think it has a 2-1 Tottenham written all over it. I think now, going on, one of the most exciting game of the week, Brentford versus Arsenal. We know how good physically Brentford are, how threatening they are on the corner. And last year, they beat Arsenal at home in the debut game in the Premier League after so many years. Now, will Arsenal stay top? They should be, because they should be beating Brentford. These are the teams which will show whether Arsenal in future can become title contenders or comfortably finish top 4, or is again going to be a battle. And that brings me to another question. Even if they win this match and they stay top of the league, can they win the league and are they title contenders? For me, no. That is too early. When you set your expectations so high and that suddenly falls, you put unnecessary pressure on the manager. For me, Arsenal fans should have expectation of a top 4, good run in the Europa League, good run in the FA Cup, Carabao Cup, and that's a great season. But if Arsenal do not qualify for the Champions League, whether through the league, whether through the Europa League, then I think some sacking questions of Arteta have to be asked. He has to get Champions League football after so much time, so much development. But to expect them to be title contenders straight away, I think that would be too much. And I don't think they will be able to handle that, especially with the squad they've got. They are very much dependent on Thomas Partey staying fit for the whole season. I like Eddie Nketiah, but he's not at the level of Gabriel Jesus. So they have some massive problem in that regard as well. You go towards Ivan Toney as Brentford threat. And wow. This guy has been on form of his life. 5 goals, 2 assists in 6 games. Did good job against United, can assist, can score, can hold the ball up, and has been just phenomenal this season. I love this guy, and he's going to get a big move very soon. And he is going to be a threat for Gabriel and Saliba, especially Gabriel, who sometimes gets over aggressive than he needs to be. While can Brentford surprise another team after they humiliated Manchester United 4-0, which made Manchester United sign Anthony Casemiro? I think they are more than capable, but Arsenal is a much better team. I think Brentford defenders could struggle against Gabriel Jesus with the gravity, with the way he turns, the way he holds the ball up. So I think they will concede 2 goals. But I think especially on the corner kick, set pieces, I think Brentford will make Arsenal pay, and with the crowd up for it and a big Premier League game, I think this is a 2-2 written all over it, in my humble opinion. I think it's a tough away day, and it's going to be Brentford 2, Arsenal 2. Now, going on, Everton vs West Ham, the final game of this week. We have discussed so far about Wolves City, Southampton, apologies. We've also discussed on Newcastle, Bournemouth. We've discussed on Tottenham, Leicester. We've discussed so far, along with that, on Newcastle, Bournemouth, Brentford, Arsenal. And that brings us to the final game, Everton versus West Ham. West Ham this season, bar the victory against Aston Villa, have been really disappointing this season. A draw against Tottenham, a loss against Chelsea, a victory against Villa, but they have been struggling. Yes, they were robbed against Chelsea. That should have, for me, that's still a 70-30, but still, in my opinion, they can feel that. And I think West Ham should have got at least a point out of that with the performance they put. But so far this season, Bowen is not fired, which has been a big problem. But I do see Bowen coming back to form. And I think West Ham, with the money they have spent, they have to have ambition to break into the top 6 in future. And that is why they have to start plugging out victories. Otherwise, this could be a big problem. Now, can they break into the top 6? For me, I just at the moment cannot see them, but in the future we have to see. Let's see how does Lucas Paqueta turns out. Let's see how does Bowen continue his development, and that will decide whether West Ham and Scamacca, how does he do, whether they'll break into top 6 or not. Now, coming on to Everton, will they stay up, and what is their transfer window rating? I think Everton will stay up, and they will stay up in a more comfortable way than people are thinking. They will be 12th to 14th for me in the league. Mope is a smart signing, not a very good finisher, but can do his part. Tarkowski and Cody are really going to be defensively solid. And Onana is a good signing in the midfield. Idrissa Gueye is a good signing in the midfield. And Everton have solidified themselves defensively. Now, many people will say, and they're right, that in football you have to score goals to win. And Everton at the moment attackingly will struggle. But I do see they have players like Gordon, Calvert-Lewin. They also have players like Demarai Gray. Even McNeil can chip in sometimes whenever required. I do think there's enough quality to win a lot of games 1-0, especially with Tarkowski, Cody at the back being strong with Pickford. And sometimes if you're a very good defensive side, and even if attackingly you're struggling, you can still do very big things. And this is why I do think Frank is doing a good job defensively, and I think Everton will comfortably stay up for me. Now, on this match, I think Goodison Park, I think Everton will be defensively solid but will try to counter West Ham, while West Ham will be in the ascendancy. This is why I do see this game ending at 2-2. I think corner kicks are going to be a big part of this game. I think Tarkowski and Cody in the corner kicks defending against Suchek is going to be a big part. But I do see this game end in Everton 2, West Ham 2. I think Bowen will have some assists as well. I think both sides will score goals. And this could be a very good game. And as much as Everton are a good defensive team, I think they will concede goals. But I do think they'll score goals. in the form of Gordon, corner kicks, and all this stuff. So I do see this game end in an Everton 2 and a West Ham 2 and being a very good game for me, in my opinion, the way it will go around. And that brings me to the final part of today's video, my Game Week 8 predictions. For me, Aston Villa are going to beat Southampton 3-1 and Gerrard will get a much needed relief. I think Forest and Fulham are going to have a 1-1 draw and much needed relief for Forest, but overall still a drop points. I think Wolves and City are going to draw, which will be a big benefit for Tottenham and Arsenal, who might have a bit of distance between them and City. I think Newcastle is going to draw against Bournemouth in a surprise result, but Newcastle will struggle to break Bournemouth down. I think Tottenham is going to not be perfect, but again win a match and win the match 2-1. I do see Arsenal drop points, but still say above Manchester City, but Tottenham getting to the top of the league. And I do see Everton 2, West Ham 2. And this is my prediction, in my opinion, for this game week, people. I've also put an FPL video. Do watch it. Do subscribe to the channel. And people, I hope you like this video. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. Thank you all.